First up on our NBA Rumors mailbag is Big Play Slay using hashtag NBA. Warriors trade the number 2 pick and Andrew Wiggins to the Magic for Nikola Vucevic. Number 2 pick and Wiggins for Vucevic. Vucevic is more valuable than Wiggins, I think, for that team because he can space the floor, he can shoot the three. It gives the Warriors a solid big. But the number 2 pick and Wiggins, I don't know, man. I like Vucevic. I don't know if I like him that much. I'd have to think about that one more. It's close, but number 2 pick feels a little rich. How about the T-Wolves pick next year in Wiggins? Keep the pick this year, T-Wolves pick next year. That I might be able to get talked into. Next up is Jason Ozzie. When will the big 3 retire, and if they do, the Warriors rebuild? Talking about Steph, Clay, and Draymond. I would say, Steph's 32 now, somewhere in that range. I would say he's probably got like 3 really good years left and like 2 to 3, maybe average type of years left. Guys are playing really well into their late 30s these days, taking care of their bodies. You got modern science and all that stuff. Clay's game is going to age. He'll be able to play till he's in his mid-late 30s because he's just a catch-and-shoot guy, right? So it's not like he relies on athleticism. Draymond, maybe he's already starting to fade a little bit. He's not nearly as effective as he used to be. When the defense starts to go for him, he'll be in trouble because he's not a great offensive player. So he could be the first to go, even though he might actually be the youngest out of the 3. But I think Steph and Clay have a good 5 years left. So as far as when they're trying to rebuild, not for a while. This is still a team that can win championships right now. Aza2 using the hashtag NBA. Who should the Cavs draft at number 5? You got Garland and Colin Sexton in that backcourt. I think they're going to try and trade Kevin Love, so maybe get a wing or big type there. The kid out of Memphis, maybe he's still available. James Wiseman at center, if you want to take a big there, you could take him at number 5. The problem with the Cavs is there's so many pieces away. It's not like they're one guy away. So I think it's just take the best player available unless it's a point guard. But even if it is, say LaMelo Ball falls to 5. Take him and then trade Colin Sexton. That's what I would do. So we'll see what happens. I think Ball's going to go higher than that. But this is a weird draft. Hadn't been able to do a lot of scouting. The college season got cut short. No March Madness. I think they just did a virtual a combine for the NBA draft, and who knows how much they got out of that. So we'll see what the Cavs do, but they need to hit on this pick. I'll just say that. So who will win the NBA title next year? It's been a fun season in the bubble. Let me know what you guys think for next year's title. Obviously, the Lakers are still going to be in the mix. I think the Clippers will be back. Toronto, we'll see what they do. The Bucks, can Giannis and them break through? Does Miami sign a big player this offseason and break through as well? Who will win the NBA title next year? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section. Colin Reed, how much different would OKC look right now if they would have kept Westbrook? They'd be worse. For one, they got a ton of assets for him. They won that trade, period. They absolutely won that trade. And Chris Paul played well enough that some team might be stupid enough into trading for him. If that happens, then they've really won that trade because they'll have even more assets. The Thunder did a really good job on handling a bad situation with Paul George randomly deciding he wanted to go team up with Kawhi. And then at that point, he kind of had no choice but to trade Westbrook. You get a bunch of picks for him. You get Chris Paul in return. Had a fun season. The Thunder are in good shape. It's a shame they didn't win a title when they had that core all together. But overall, I think OKC should be feeling pretty good about their future. Firing not retaining Billy Donovan, kind of a weird move. Curious to see where they go in that direction at head coach. But overall, I think the Thunder, roster-wise and asset-wise, is actually in great shape. Paul's up next using hashtag NBA. Beal to Denver for Harris, Porter, and Bol. So Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., and Bol for Bradley Beal. That's really intriguing to me. Because Gary Harris is an established defensive player who can score a little bit, so that's a solid piece there. Still young, too, so Washington can use him. Michael Porter Jr. has a ton of upside. We saw that in the bubble. I thought he played really well. Bol in the reseeding games played extremely well. We didn't see him much in the playoffs, but I'm intrigued by him. This is something I would consider if I'm Washington. Certainly they'd like to get some picks. Maybe you throw a pick in there as well, but I think it's a win-win, right? You get a big-time 25 to 30-point scorer if you are Denver, and then Washington gets 3 young assets. Sounds like a win-win to me. So I wouldn't want to give up Porter if I was Denver, but I might do it for Bradley Beal. Super chat from Kenneth. What are the best 3-and-Ds available? I should have had my free agent list pulled up here. Paul Millsap's one. We talked about him during our news and rumors cut here. I'm going to try and pull up our free agents list kind of on the fly here. I know my guy Jimmy Crowther did an under-the-radar NBA free agents video on the channel. You can check that out. Another reason to subscribe. I'll say this. A guy I think a lot of teams should look at. How about Jay Crowder? He's been really good for the Heat in the bubble. He's a good defender. He's a good three-point shooter. Kind of a streaky three-point shooter, but I think that's a guy I would look at to potentially offer a 3-and-D. I would love for the Dallas Mavericks to bring him back. I think he's the ideal type of piece they need. But how about Crowder? I think that's a good name to keep an eye on. Something else that is good is staying safe, which is what the NBA has been able to do in the bubble. No positive tests in months. They've got it figured out. Chatsports.com/NBA mask. We got these solo packs for every single team, all the way up to 4 packs for all 30 NBA teams. Got some new ones available as well. Chatsports.com/NBA mask. Stay safe. Do your part. I want to watch games in arenas next season. The bubble's been fun, but I want to go to some games, so let's do our part. Wear a face mask and rep your team in style. Chatsports.com/NBA mask. That link's in the comments. It's in the description. If you're watching live, it is also in the live chat. So just click on that link and you can shop today. Phoenix Boots is next up. Higher ceiling, Anthony Davis, Greek Freak, or Nikola Jokić. The higher ceiling is Giannis, because if he can learn how to shoot, he's unstoppable. The problem is he hadn't figured it out yet. So I would say his ceiling's highest. The most established player as of now, probably Anthony Davis because of his defensive prowess, but I love all 3 of these guys. All 3 of these players are top 10. The Greek Freak, AD, and Jokić are all top 10. Maybe Jokić is more fringe top 10, but I think he played really well in the playoffs this year. I like what I saw from him and Jamal Murray in Denver. That's a nice duo moving forward. Greek Freak still has the biggest ceiling, though. All right, Logan's next up. Who should the Spurs take at number 12? You start getting past 10 guys, it gets difficult, right? I know Devin Vassal's an interesting name there out of Florida State, kind of a 3-and-D type of guy. I like Sadiq Bey out of Villanova, but this is a weird draft, and drafts are always weird, especially outside of the top 5 or 10 picks. Guys bust all the time, so the Spurs like to take players with high ceilings. Think international guys too. They like to take international players, so start thinking of those guys in the comments and while you're thinking about that. But I know the kid who's supposed to be a top 5 pick, Jimmy loves him. His name's blanking me right now. The Spurs would love to trade up and get him. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Sticking with the draft, Mark White. Mavs should draft Sadiq Bey. I would like to see that. Tyrese Maxey or Josh Green at 18. Mavs have heart, and subscribe to All Things Mavs. Loves that channel. Jimmy does a great job. Go ahead and check that out. It's youtube.com/all_things_Mavs. I'd like Sadiq Bey at 18. I'd like Tyrese Maxey at 18. I'm not as high on Josh Green. I know I've seen that mocked a couple of times at 18. I like those other guys better because they're better shooters. I'd be okay with it. I'd love Desmond Bane at 31. He's another guy who can shoot and play some defense out of TCU. I've seen that mocked a couple times. So I like all those names you're mentioning. Get a physical 3-and-D player. Works for me. I think that's something the Mavs desperately need. That's why I also said they should sign Jay Crowder. I think it would be a good idea. So what is the better sport? Let me know. NBA or NFL? We're live here on NBA now, but as you guys know, we cover both the NBA and the NFL. We've got more NFL subscribers, so I'm curious to see what you guys are voting here, NBA or NFL. I'm seeing more NBAs coming right now, which shouldn't be surprising. We're live here on NBA now. Continue to get your votes in, and if you love the NBAs, coverage all off-season long. A lot of channels, they just tune out. They just shut it down once the finals end. We ramp our coverage up after the finals end because we got off-season stories, rumors, trade ideas, blockbuster trades that actually go down, draft coverage, mock drafts. I know Jimmy just released his latest mock draft. His next one, he's told me, guys, insider information, 2-round mock draft. So stay tuned for that. Turn on notifications after you subscribe. Help us out, help us grow the channel, and we'll help you out by putting out more videos. All right, Rip Drazo, I believe. Let me know if I pronounced that right. Do you see Jeremy Grant signing with the Lakers after the long talk with LeBron after the conference finals? Guys, I'm sure LeBron just told him the typical, hey, keep working. Like, that doesn't mean they're signing Grant. They don't have any money. They got to sign Anthony Davis. I guess if AD goes to Chicago, then, yeah, sure, they could go sign him. If Jeremy Grant wants to take like $4 million a year, the Lakers could sign him. But he's going to cash in this year. That's another 3-and-D guy that team should go after. I like Jeremy Grant a lot. He's going to make a lot of money, though, and the Lakers cannot pay him. Frito, got a couple more here. Horford back to Boston. I will say this. I do think Philadelphia is going to try and trade him. That was a stupid signing. It was the beginning of the end for Brett Brown in Philadelphia. Bad move. That was just bad. They let Jimmy Butler go, and then they signed Al Horford. I don't get it. He certainly fit in better in Boston, but I'm not convinced he has much left in the tank. The Sixers benched him. He came off the bench for them down the stretch, so I don't know. That contract's pretty untradeable. Mateo 713 using hashtag NBA Trade House, Daniel House, and Eric Gordon for Miles Turner and signed Derrick Rose as a backup point guard. So Daniel House and Gordon for Miles Turner. Value could be about right there. Gordon's the best player there, but 2 players for a younger Turner makes sense. And then sign Derrick Rose. I don't hate that. The Rockets are going to keep swinging. We know that. That's been their style for years. They refuse to rebuild. So until proven otherwise, I would expect them to be aggressive this offseason. Miles Turner would be interesting there, but we'll see what the new coach wants. If the new coach embraces D'Antoni's system, then they're probably not going to go get a center. So we'll see what happens there. Wamig? Hashtag NBA, you're the last up here. Derrick Rose to Dallas. I'm at a loss of words because it's intriguing, but it's not really what Dallas needs. Because think about it. Luka's your starting point guard. Think about the amount of guards you have, okay? You got Jalen Brunson. I think they're going to bring back Trey Burke. I know Barea still wants to play. I would just let him go. You got Seth Curry. You need wings and potentially a big. Am I intrigued by Rose? Yes. I would rather bring back Trey Burke for cheaper and go sign a 3-and-D guy. That's just me. Derrick Rose has rebuilt his career, and good for him, but I don't think Dallas is the right fit for him.